let's dive right into this terrifyingly fast timeline of societal collapse based on Larry Johnson's gripping short story, Lights Out. If you've ever wondered how quickly polite society totally unravels when the electricity permanently stops flowing, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to take a hard look at how the entire veneer of civilization is completely dependent on the power grid and how taking that away fundamentally rewrites human behavior.
Here is our ominous roadmap for today. We're tracking the exact phases from the exact second the grid fails, all the way down to the ultimate breakdown of human morality. We'll start with the sudden darkness, push into the dangerous phase of confusion and denial, watch as starvation sets in, observe total societal breakdown, and finally end up in the grim reality of pure survival.
All right, Phase 1, the sudden darkness. We kick things off on day 1, right in the middle of a totally everyday, mundane suburban afternoon.
Look at this contrast, because it really captures the sheer whiplash of this whole narrative. On one hand, you've got our main guy, Ralph, standing in a Quick Mart. He's cynically counting his groceries, super annoyed he's got 13 items in the express lane. He just wants to go home. But fast forward a few months? No way. He is literally hiding in city sewers from desperate mobs of cannibals. I mean, how on earth does a guy go from complaining about checkout lanes to underground survival in such a short window of time?
Well, it all starts right there in the Quick Mart. The power suddenly cuts out. Emergency lights flick on, creating these blinding beams and deep shadows. The checkout system is totally dead, so the manager just tells everyone to drop their stuff and leave. But here's the crazy part. When the blackout hits, Ralph's first instinct isn't to immediately prep for survival. Nope, it's just a petty rebellion. Annoyed by the manager barking orders, Ralph slips 2 candy bars right up his sleeve. He steals them simply because he refuses to walk out empty-handed. It's this tiny moral compromise, but man, it totally foreshadows the massive ones coming his way.
And the descent happens with whiplash-inducing speed. Within minutes, the power grid fails and traffic is completely deadlocked. In a matter of days, complete silence. Phones, radios, the internet, all dead. You're entirely cut off from the world. Give it a few weeks, and those well-stocked suburban pantries, totally empty, replaced by gnawing hunger. And within just months, we see complete and total moral collapse. It's a stark reminder of how fragile our modern convenience is, and frankly, our modern morals actually are when you kick away the foundational support of electricity. Which brings us to day 2 and phase 2, confusion and denial. The reality of the situation hasn't quite hit yet, and we see people doing some seriously dangerous psychological buffering. You can see this perfectly with Ralph's wife, Gracie. At first, she treats this massive blackout like a fun little snow day. She's literally saying, hey, this is great. No TV, a romantic dinner cooked over the fireplace. They're planning to make hot dogs and s'mores and play Monopoly by candlelight. It is the ultimate snapshot of suburban naivety. Psychologists call this normalcy bias. They assume, like we all probably would, that it's just a temporary glitch, the authorities have it handled, and the lights are just going to pop back on tomorrow. But step outside that cozy candlelit house, and the reality is a whole lot scarier. The government and infrastructure immediately prove completely useless. Stoplights are stuck flashing yellow, creating this massive gridlock because drivers are just staring at them, totally unsure of how to drive without a machine telling them when to go. AM and FM radios, just dead static. And the only official response is this single loudspeaker truck rolling through the neighborhood, playing a loop that just tells people not to panic. Ironically, the recording features this incredibly calm voice that sounds exactly like Jimmy Stewart, politely telling people it's a power surge and to just be patient. That weird mix of a comforting voice with absolutely zero real help, it just cranks the underlying tension way up. Then the tone takes a massive nosedive. Ralph's neighbor Ray comes over after gathering some wild rumors on the street. He tells Ralph the cops are completely clueless and comms are down everywhere. Ray is terrified it's World War III, so he pulls out a heavy, fully loaded 6-shooter revolver, shoves it into Ralph's hands and says, "Listen, Ralph, you have to take this." Let that sink in. In exactly 2 days, we've gone from playing Monopoly to handing out loaded firearms.
So by week 3, we hit phase 3. Starvation sets in. Any trace of that fun snow day optimism is absolutely dead. Just take a look at the dark evolution of this family's diet. It shows exactly how desperate hunger completely erodes the boundaries of civilized behavior. Step 1. They burned through whatever Quick Mart canned goods and thawed freezer food they had left. Step 2. They actually use his son's Boy Scout knowledge to squish up bugs and random plants, boil them, and dump in heavy amounts of sugar just to hide the awful taste. Step 3. They start actively breaking into abandoned neighbors' homes to steal whatever is left. And finally, step 4, relying on the rations of a man Ralph literally had to kill. Talk about a brutal escalation.
But right before turning to violence, Ralph makes one last desperate trip back to that Quick Mart on foot. But the store is completely empty, locked up tight, with absolutely zero food on the shelves. The only thing left is this incredibly sad homemade poster for a lost cat taped to the front window. That stark contrast, an empty, looted store and a mundane lost cat poster, really drives home a chilling reality. The 24/7 food security modern families rely on is just a terrifyingly fragile illusion. The stores we depend on can be completely hollowed out in mere hours.
Fast forward a few months, and we're in Phase 4, societal breakdown. This is where society just fractures entirely. Neighbors turn on each other, and former morality completely decays.
Without any official communication, rumors replace reality. People stop talking in the streets. Neighbors isolate themselves behind locked, taped-up doors. And this extreme paranoia sets in because, night after night, cars are being silently stripped of their parts. They're gas siphoned by unseen people. With no news, a terrifying neighborhood whisper network takes over. The source text actually compares it to an Arab telephone. It just spreads these wild, panic-inducing rumors about violent roaming gangs moving block by block through the suburbs.
And eventually, the starvation drives our main guy right over the edge. In what's honestly one of the most chilling, morally compromised moments in this whole explainer, Ralph breaks into his missing neighbor's house. You know, Ray, the guy who gave him the gun. Well, Ray's family took off, but they left behind their barking dog Rex. Ralph finds absolutely zero food in the cupboards. He's got a starving wife and kids at home. He's standing there, alone with his gun and an abandoned dog. And he just notes, I guess I don't have to tell you what I did with Rex.
Wow. Which brings us to our final, terrifying phase. Pure survival. The end game. A total dystopia where right and wrong don't exist anymore. There are only those who live and those who die.
The number 3. That is literally what Ralph's entire survival has boiled down to. He has exactly 3 bullets left in that revolver Ray gave him. He originally had 6. He used one when he missed a shot, and the second one to shoot a solitary man squarely in the forehead. Why? Just to steal his house, his food, and his drinks. Ralph even casually mentions dragging the former owner's body into the trunk of a car in the garage so they wouldn't have to smell him. This is the horrifying new normal.
To keep his family alive in this stolen house, Ralph has to get intensely deceptive. He deliberately paints fake looter codes, like gang symbols indicating a house has already been pillaged and its owners maimed, right on his own front door. I mean, think about the profound irony of that. You're desperately trying to make your home look like a brutal crime scene just to keep your family safe. And when they finally do have to move, they travel only at night. They retreat to the city's sewers to hide from rats, packs of wild dogs, and most terrifyingly, these completely disorganized masses of people who have actually resorted to cannibalism.
This endgame creates a totally grim reality, where the very concept of value is flipped entirely upside down. Think about it. Money? We spend our whole lives chasing it, but now it's just worthless paper. Gasoline used to be the lifeblood of travel. Now it's useless because there's nowhere safe to drive and absolutely nobody wants to trade for it. Sugar, something you'd grab without thinking in a checkout lane, is now a highly vital resource, strictly rationed just so kids can stomach boiled insects. And human life? What used to be priceless and sacred is now completely expendable. Modern currency and fuel literally mean nothing when the grid dies for good.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to apply this timeline to your own life. Seriously, take a look in your pantry tonight and deeply consider this. If the lights went out for good tonight and the stores were completely emptied out tomorrow, what exact steps would your family take? How many days would it take for your own neighborhood to go dark, not just physically, but morally? It's a super unsettling thought, right? But it's absolutely worth pondering. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.